If you want to back up your badges before the Nintendo Badge Arcade shuts down, make copies of your 000014D1 folder every time that you swap out your badge box. Make sure to put together different combinations of your badge sets so you won't regret anything later. If you're curious how I figured out this method, stick around. Years ago, I remember watching videos from people who had imported the then region-exclusive new 3DS, showcasing some of the new features it had, alongside demos of Super Smash Bros. And Monster Hunter 4G. There were also some strange-looking screenshots of the home menu going around the internet, featuring icons of Nintendo characters that could be placed like software. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole researching this and learning about the Collectible Badge Center. I desperately wanted to have this on my own 3DS, but it was only available in Japan. I waited and waited, but as the months went by, there was no sign of an international release. After nearly a year, it kinda just showed up on the worldwide eShop. I was really excited to dive in and finally decorate my home menu. Since November 2015, I've been playing Nintendo Badge Arcade every day. Without spending any money, I've amassed over 7,000 badges. It had taken a lot of dedication, time, and not money to get to this point. I collected so many badges that I'd often have to go to the help desk and manage my badge box. The box had a few limitations when it came to decorating your home menu. The box could only hold up to 1,000 badges and 100 categories. This gave a lot of freedom for what sets you might want to mash up together. If you wanted to have 8-bit Bowser fighting Mallow while Nikki watches a mech walk in, that's entirely possible here. Between the theme shop update and the release of Nintendo Badge Arcade, I deeply enjoyed customizing my home menu. Of course, with these things relying on the internet, it was unlikely they would stay forever. After the Nintendo eShop shut down, you could no longer buy themes or arcade plays. Both platforms changed. The theme shop only offers a couple of free themes, and the Badge Arcade not only stopped giving out bonus badges and themes, it ceased rotating the catchers entirely. This occurred on March 24th, 2022, happening unannounced several days before the eShop shut down. Logging in, I, as well as many others, were confused as to what was happening. A few days later, Nintendo confirmed an announcement that the arcade had been partially shut down. I had hoped I could collect even more badges, but now the selection of badge catchers would no longer rotate. It was as if it was frozen in time. The arcade had also stopped giving out 2 daily free plays, so everyone was left with the chance of getting a few free plays from the practice catcher, making collecting significantly more difficult. Despite this setback, I was determined to try and collect everything in these remaining catchers. On September 2nd, 2023, I was finally able to achieve that goal. It took nearly 8 years, but my journey with the arcade was now complete. While my collection isn't as big as some others, I'm proud of all the progress I've made just by sticking around with the arcade and using the free plays. Shortly after that, on October 4th, 2023, it was announced that Nintendo Network services would be shutting down. Further details revealed that the entirety of Nintendo Badge Arcade would be inaccessible. Despite data mined scripts from the game showing a scenario where the help desk would be accessible after discontinuing catchers, this ended up not being the direction Nintendo took. For anyone unaware, the badge box had a limitation of 1,000 badges and 100 categories that you could save on your system locally, while the rest of the collection would be stored at the arcade on its servers. By going to the help desk, you could swap out what categories you wanted to save on your system, while the others would remain in the cloud. On the official support page, Nintendo confirmed that you would no longer be able to swap out badges from your badge box. Their server would be entirely inaccessible. They suggest placing badges before the service ends, but if your SD card malfunctions, that data is permanently gone. As someone who has well over 1,000 badges, I'm in a bit of a sticky situation. On the one hand, I never spent any money at the arcade. But on the other, I did spend over 300 hours of my time. Picking out 1,000 of my favorite badges would be nice, but I didn't work for 1,000 badges. I logged in for 2,835 days and collected 7,071 badges. Nintendo's suggested solution is to prepare multiple SD cards with different save data on each of them. I don't have 7 micro SD cards, nor would I want to divide my games, save data, and photos between them. So I'll do something better. I'm finding a way to back up my badge data without having multiple SD cards, or homebrew. I started out by experimenting with a fresh 16GB micro SD card that I had left in my PSI. I wiped it clean and re-downloaded the Badge Arcade. I went to the info desk and took out some categories I wanted to decorate my system with. I placed a big old Bulborb and an innocent little Pikmin. Making note of the time that I pressed apply, I backed up all the data on my SD card to my computer. Then, I went back to the arcade, removed all my existing categories, and popped in the Triforce Heroes one. After decorating my home menu with a few cheerleading red links, I backed up the SD card once more. I did some comparisons, I did some research, and I think I kind of figured out what changes when you swap out your badge box. I brought over what I presumed to be the Pikmin data, restarted my 3DS, and bam! Bulborb. This minuscule 15MB folder is all that you need. Instead of needlessly overcomplicating things with multiple SD cards or potentially creating backups of your entire SD card, everything important to the badge data resides in this folder. I can't imagine how others who have invested large amounts of money into the arcade feel about this. The game incentivized completing your collection and buying plays. With some catchers, such as the holiday Pokemon ones, they never reappeared, making money a requirement to complete the set. I highly encourage anyone with a large collection of badges to create plenty of backups. What I'd suggest is that you can create multiple archives with different combinations of categories. If you were to only create backups to try and cover your entire collection, you might be missing out on certain combinations that you might like. It's now or never to put these together. I understand why Nintendo might not encourage digging through their files, but creating a handful of 15MB archives for yourself is quite a bit more efficient than their method. For a 3DS newcomer, a lot of this doesn't matter. Even while the arcade is around for a little bit longer, there's no possible way you can earn over 1,000 badges anymore. But, for everyone else, those who have been dedicated to collecting and upgrading your statue, I hope this message reaches you, and you're able to hold on to your complete collection.